Alrighty guys, working on the planter today. This has got to happen outside because this damn thing's too big to fit in the garage. But one of these days, I'll have a shop. One of these days. Anyway, first thing, or the big thing I got to get done is put new axles in it. Because this one broke last year. The threads on this end stripped out and the nut was coming off. Okay. I don't remember how the heck we did this. Yeah, I'll figure it out later. But I didn't even notice it till I started washing the planter. And at first I was just like, oh, no big deal. Nut just came loose. So I went to tighten it back up and it wouldn't tighten back up. But we got brand new NOS axles to go in it and got new castle nuts for it and whole 9 yards. The only thing we didn't get was the bearings, because they use two different ones and we won't know what this one's got till I get it apart. So but come to find out, that thing's had problems for a while because they had two different kinds of axles in this. They had one where it was just a steel pin that bolted right to the arms, and then the hub spun on that pin. And then they had this style axle, which was the heavy-duty one, where there's actually bearings sandwiched in between these plates and this arm, and everything's supposed to be brought up snug, and the whole axle is supposed to turn. Well, I didn't know that, because I never really thought to check what it was supposed to be, because it was just the way it always was. But this the hubs on this were loose on the axles, and they were just spinning on the axle, which is not what's not what we're supposed to be doing, and that's probably what led to this nut or these threads stripping on this thing. So, but other than that, there's really not anything I have to do to it this year. So, other than go through and when I get my seed and calibrate it. Come on, get on there. When I get this apart, run down to South Bend real quick, and there's a bearing warehouse down there. And basically what this thing shows in the book is they're pretty much just disc bearings. So it shouldn't be anything out of the ordinary, I hope. Now the fun part's going to be figuring out how to pop it out of there. Alrighty, got it off. Ended up having to take that one arm off the side. That's what the bearing looks like. An old fastener. Made in USA. Shame I have to replace it with some Chinese piece of junk. But it's probably a good thing this happened, because this bearing is off of this side. And that bearing, when I got it popped out of there, the outer race fell apart on it. And there's a, I don't know how well you can see it. It's been broke for a while. There's a hairline right there where part of it was rusting from the part of the brake was rusting. But I got to, in order to get these bearings, apparently to avoid having to have something custom made, the OD on the ID on these bearings is actually larger than the axle. So I'm assuming in order to use a standard bearing and not have to get anything custom made, they took this bearing and they pressed a sleeve in there to get the ID down to the right size for that axle. So I got to pop that out of there. We got a brand new NOS sleeve to put in there too. But I gotta, oh, it's too big. Drive that sleeve out of there before I take it down to get it, or get a new bearing. I don't think it's going to come out of there in one piece. Nope. Is the whole thing even... I don't even think the whole thing is... No, the whole thing's in there. It's just kind of whooped. This isn't going to be fun. Trying to figure out how to get a hold of the thing is going to be a bit of an issue. Now knock that shit off. Wouldn't be a big deal if I didn't have to try to save the stinking bearing. This thing was definitely due for new wheel bearings. And because of the fact that it had been running loose for so long, the axles are, here, I'll show you. The axles, I gotta believe, that sidewall's almost all the way wore through, as deep as them grooves are cut. So, it wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when that thing was going to go. You go out. Dadgum. What the heck is holding that thing in there? It shouldn't be that tight of a press fit. I'm not 100% sure that thing's even going to come out of there. Smashed to an oblivion from not being used like a bearing should be. It's almost like the thing welded itself together. Well, ran into a little bit of a snag. Those are special. I figured they'd just be standard disc bearings, but they're special, so I'm gonna have to call AGCO and order them. So, I guess for now, got bearings coming, so they ought to be here Tuesday. I just threw this thing back together so it was mobile. I guess let's just up and park it and bring the comb over down and work on it for a while. too bad of a deal, though. And Barry won't be here Tuesday, and won't be here till Tuesday, and it doesn't look like I'll have another chance to work on this thing until probably Thursday. It's supposed to rain. The only thing I hate about this plane is this damn jacket. It's cool, but the hoses kind of make it a pain. But luckily I got plenty of inside projects to get done. Biggest thing being the tin for that wagon's supposed to be done Monday, sometime after lunch, so I'll go pick that up. And there's probably at least 2.5, 3 days worth of work finishing up that wire, getting that wagon ready to roll. Get tires ordered for it Monday. I was going to get the rims painted before I put new tires on it, but since we're down to crunch time, and the sandblasting guy we use does a good job, but man, he's kind of slow sometimes, and I don't want to get to the point where I need the wagon and still be waiting on rims for it, so we're just going to use it the way it is, this spring, and then tear it all back down this summer and paint it. The only bad part about trying to hook this thing up by yourself is that hitch right there. This thing is a royal pain. Alrighty. Well, the whole goal of this is to get the packers tightened up, because right now they're like that, and that's a bad deal. Because if they're allowed to rock back and forth, if you hit a rock or something just the right way, it'll bust the center out of them, so you want to keep them tightened up. So, first things first, I got to get all the... I was hoping to be able to just bust all the scrapers loose and let them and adjust them, but I took 2 off and busted both bolts, so I'm just going to go ahead and... I got new bolts already, and I'm just going to go through, torch all the bolts off, get the packers adjusted, and then put the scrapers back on. Because I don't mind rust, but when it's on a bolt, it's a pain in the ass. Well, all those are off. A lot of these are actually about shot, like that one right there. This is how they're supposed to be shaped, and that's how some of them are shaped. But they'll work for now. By all rights, if the ground is wet enough that you need scrapers on this thing, you probably shouldn't be running a color mulcher over it anyway. Because you're just going to pack it way more than what you're intending to. Turn it into a slab of concrete. But, anyway, looks like most of these need to go this way. Looks like this side is the side that needs tightened up. Huh. Well, I guess there's only... I guess they're going to have to go the other way, because this is the side that's got the... I thought they both had one of these U-bolts on there, but apparently not. So... I guess what does it get me? I'll bring everything down this way. That might be an issue. Man, it ain't terrible because those things are made to go like that, but it'd be nice to be able to get them square on there, but that's just not going to happen. So, I guess, just run with what we can run with. Because there ain't no way, I mean, there is a way to get a spacer down here, but you'd have to pull the axle off and take every roller off of there, put your spacer on, and then, because that one's about right, that one's about right. I guess by all rights they need spacers in between every one of them, really. But we'll just do the best with what we got. So those are heavy-duty nuts, so I don't know. Thinking they're 5/8. Wait a minute. I just had a... Oh, we end up... Huh. Three-quarter. Ah. I was doing math in my head way wrong there. But I still don't know how we ended up with two 13/16 in there. That's a little interesting. Oh, and before I forget, you guys will also be happy to know that my 1080p glasses showed up today. So, we'll be back to normal tomorrow. Man, I really don't want to snap that. Alrighty, I'm on the last gang. All these U-bolts, the threads on them were pretty nasty, and plus all the lock washers broke when I cracked the nuts loose, so I decided to just pull them apart, clean the threads up, and put new lock washers on them all. Let's do them, Bailey. That gang right there wasn't too bad, but that one, and that one were all out of whack. By like more than an inch. Okay, what was I saying? Oh yeah. No, I wasn't saying that. I can't remember. But at least whoever designed these things was thinking, and real easy to make all the adjustments on this thing. So aside from having to put heat to all these U-bolts because they were, I really didn't want to snap them off. And it really ain't even got to be all that tight, but since they've got so much surface area bearing on that shaft, it's friction alone is going to hold them. So but now those are done, go ahead and start putting the scrapers back on. But before I do that, I gotta go out and count out, or go down to the barn and count out 44 freaking flat washers. Well, I got the gangs and the scrapers all put back together. Then I started checking wheel bearings, and all four of them were they weren't bad, but they were just a little loose, so I decided it probably wasn't a bad idea, since we haven't done it since we got to pull it apart and repack the wheel bearings. So I took it apart so I could pop the seal out, and I'm going to run in the morning, or I may do it yet tonight, because Napa's open till 7. I may go yet tonight and get seals for it, or run in the morning and get axle seals for it, and pack the bearings, grease it, and should be ready to go. On the upside though, the bearings are in good shape. Well, since them, for some reason they didn't actually put a seal in them. It's just a felt wiper. So the back side of the inner bearing is a little dirty, but it's nothing wrong with the races or anything. So but That wasn't too bad of a deal. Shouldn't take too long, provided I can find the seals. Either Napa might have them, because there's enough room in here. The bore's big enough you could put an actual axle seal in there, because the counter bore's deep enough. So I'm probably going to do that, just because the fact it sits outside, it'd be nice to have something to keep the water out of the bearings. So I'm going to try to get a seal matched up, but if not, supposedly the John Deere dealer up in Sodus is also a Brillion dealer, so may end up having to run up there in the morning and get some seals for it. But that's where everything stands for tonight. So tomorrow we will be back in 1080p HD with new camera. So say goodbye to these. I guess that does it for this one. We'll catch you guys on the next one.